It's really encouraging and inspiring.
There is strength in partnerships, and we want Columbus City Schools to know that we are a partner both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. We share a common goal, and that goal is student success, and we want these students to succeed, and we would love to be a part of their success as they go throughout this school year and school years to come.
Just makes me so proud to be a Columbus City School graduate, proud of all the great teachers and staff of Columbus City Schools that are out here making it happen, and just really proud of all the partners that are here, from after-school programs, all the city teams that are here, really all kind of stacking hands, and I think showing the kids and families of this community that we're all in this together, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure we have an awesome, awesome school year.
Family support is critical at CCS, and we have a wealth of resources for our families.
The mission of the Columbus Recreation and Parks Department is to connect the residents of this community through nature, wellness, and creativity. It's all about being able to reach the students as they are out in the community as well as in the classroom.
The growth of this city is going to be incredible, but we're not just interested in being bigger, we're interested in being better. And that's what today is all about, to make sure our kids and our families are successful. I think this is going to be the best school year ever.
It is our goal and a priority for us to support the whole child, which includes the whole school and the whole community. So we really want to provide those wraparound supports to our students and families and provide them with the resources that they need so that their students can come to school every day ready to learn and ready to succeed.
City League is so important because it's just important to keep kids active and stay out the streets and do good.
It's kind of funny, Tajon came into us this year, but his dad, I actually coached in Little League. He played for my Columbus Day Stars.
Oh, get a break.
Coach Bell, he mean a lot to me. That's my dude. And he actually out here doing this for us. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here.
One of the things I think that separates Tajon is his work ethic and his attitude. You know, he always wants to be first. He wins in the sprints. He studies the film. Like, he spends more time on the film than some of my coaches do. You know, he studies the game of football, and he's always asking questions. And you know, I think that separates him a lot about his commitment to the game of football and trying to be the best he can be. He scored 5 touchdowns the first game. You know, I think he had 7 touches, and he had 5 touchdowns. And then the second game, he had maybe 4 touches, and he had 3 touchdowns. In our third game, he had 2 more touchdowns. The other part that's exceptional about him is that he's a pretty good defensive player.
Me and my teammates, we play a lot, and it's all about fun for real. That's all it's about, having fun. Coming out with a good attitude, positive energy, no negative. That's how we push each other.
You know, he has over 3.5 or, you know, close to a 3.6 in the classroom. So I was asking him, I said, why is it important for you to get good grades? And he said, because that's what's expected of me and my family.
Without good grades, you ain't going nowhere. You need education first to get in any school, for any sports. If you're gonna be a student athlete, you gotta have good grades. I wanna go to college because not too many people in my family went to college, and I wanna be one of them people that go forward, not just to go to college, just to say I went to college. I wanna go to college to prove something to a lot of people.
He's coachable. He's always asking questions. You know, I give him direction, he follows it, he listens. Yeah, he definitely has the potential to be a big-time football player in the Division I level.
I want to think about entrepreneur. I want to play in NFL, but if that don't go well, my backup plan was entrepreneur.
College coaches should recruit Tajon Burns because he has world-class speed. He's a cultural changing type young man, so he definitely going to bring the energy and the leadership and the commitment to your program. So if you're out there, you D1s, D2s, you need to come see him.
College coaches should recruit me because I'm a good teammate. I'm good in the classroom, good education. I work hard. I'm nice.
To our entire Columbus City Schools community. My name is Malin Damashi and I'm a student at Northland High School. Before we begin tonight's Board of Education business meeting, I invite you to check out these highlights and updates from across the district.
Greetings and welcome to this week's Highlights from Across the District. I am thrilled to kick off this superintendent report with exciting news. This past weekend, one of our schools was the beneficiary of an incredible act of generosity. Burlington Stores, in collaboration with Adopt a Classroom, made a remarkable $5,000 donation to Cassidy Elementary School during their new store grand opening and ribbon-cutting event at Easton. This monumental donation is not just a number, It promises support and empowerment for our teachers and students at Cassidy. It is a testament to the unwavering commitment to education and community that we are fortunate to experience. Another shout out and thank you to the U.S. Soccer Foundation and Columbus Crew in partnership with Lower.com and Nationwide for their commitment to engaging students in the importance of attendance and staying in the game. Despite a slight drizzle, the Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls joyously celebrated the unveiling of their new mini pitch. This exciting event marked the inauguration of the 4th soccer mini pitch, a generous gift from the Columbus Crew and Crew Foundation to the Columbus City Schools. During the event, students pledged to stay in the game when it comes to attendance. The new mini pitch will help students aim for better attendance goals while enhancing their soccer skills. Columbus City School students have been getting hands-on experience to prepare them for success in college, career, and beyond in a few recent events. Siebert Elementary School's 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders recently got the chance to work with faculty and students from The Ohio State University School of Architecture on a collaborative learning project. Students have been creating models and planned views to create their dream playground and recently shared their designs with OSU faculty and students. This project was launched during the STEAM Rising Summer Professional Development and serves as a chance for students to get this valuable learning experience. 5th graders from 4 Columbus City schools recently got to experience life at The Ohio State University as part of the Buckeye Buddy for a Day program. As part of the program, students from East Linden, Ohio Avenue, Windsor STEM Academy, and Hamilton STEM Academy spent the day touring the campus, learning about college, and also learning about different careers. Since 2001, these Access Days have provided elementary, middle, and high school students the opportunity to experience life at The Ohio State University for one day. I hope students gained a lot from the experience and created many, many more wonderful memories. Students are learning the value of good money habits and financial literacy as part of Junior Achievement Day at Alpine and Avalon Elementary Schools. Junior Achievement collaborated with Ernst & Young LLP, associates for the 3rd year to create an informative day for students to think about making good financial decisions. Throughout the day, students engaged in enriching activities that fostered financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship, equipping them with invaluable skills for a successful future. Even though the official start of winter is still a month away, our students at Devonshire Elementary are already channeling their community spirit. Last week, they showcased their artistic talents as they participated in the City of Columbus's Paint the Plow program. Students had the opportunity to adorn one of the blades attached to the massive snow plows, which will play a crucial role in winter snow removal this season. Kudos to these young artists at Devonshire and all of the schools across the district that helped paint the plow. Our students have also been out in the community helping others. The Fort Hays Arts and Academic High School's Air Force Junior ROTC cadets assisted 600 veterans as part of the Central Ohio Veterans Stand Down program. The annual event is free to all veterans and was hosted at the Greater Columbus Convention Center and designed to get necessary support and information to veterans, including everything from Social Security, benefits to housing. I want to extend a huge congratulations to our Special Olympics flag football teams from Fort Hays and Northland High School, who recently competed in the Special Olympics Ohio Flag Football State Championships. This was the first year Fort Hays has had a flag football team, and the team finished 2nd place for their division. Northland High School came in 3rd place for their division. A huge shout out to these athletes. Additionally, Congratulations to all of our CCS football teams on a great season. Recently, Briggs, East Independence, Northland, Walnut Ridge, South, Beechcroft, Marion Franklin, and Afrocentric competed in their first round of the OHSAA 2023 State Football Playoff Game. We are so proud of your hard work and dedication, both on and off the field. These have been your highlights from around the district for November 8th. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, everyone. I am calling our November 8th board meeting to order. Please call the roll.
President Adair.
Present.
Ms. Beckerly.
Present.
Mr. Brown.
I'm here.
Mr. Cole.
Present.
Dr. Pierce.
I'm here.
Ms. Reyes.
Here.
Vice President Vera.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we begin our meeting today, we need to say thank you to our community. Because we are on board time, cannot make an extended thank you, but we know that passage of issue 11 is extremely critical to the foundation of continuing to build the success of Columbus City Schools. And so we want to thank everyone who supported, everyone who will now continue to help support our students as we move forward, and everyone who personally was dedicated to working on this issue. And we will have opportunities for our board members to, on their time after we are finished with the gavel, to give personal thanks, which is appropriate under the recommendations that we've been given. On our agenda this evening, we have 5 speakers here for public comment. We have several resolutions on our board matters. We have a report from our superintendent. We have a report from our treasurer's office. We have 1 notice of public hearing on reemployment of a retired employee. We have 3 public hearings on reemployment of retired employees. We have our consent agenda. We do not have any speakers on non-agenda items, and we do not have an executive session this evening. Is there a motion to approve our agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Are there any additions or changes? Seeing none, any objections? Without objection, our agenda has passed. Our first person for public comment is Matrice Cruz. All individuals will have 3 minutes to address the board. The first, go ahead and come up, Ms. Cruz. The topic is, I want the board to take into consideration the needs of parents on how to make payments. Good evening, Ms. Cruz.
My name is Matrice Cruz, and I have a child who attends Stewart Alternative Elementary School. She attends the Latchkey program there, and first I want to give acknowledgement to Mrs. Tate and Mrs. Mathis. They are amazing, and they are to be commended. I know that the intention of the Columbus City School Latchkey program is to provide a service for parents who are working and need their children to have both before and or after school care, but sometimes it just often feels like it's a disservice. Parents are expected to pay in the Latchkey program when children are not in attendance. I know that I have had 2 situations where my child was sick. The only exception that was made was when COVID was here. Since COVID, as recent as the first week of October, my child was out of school for a week. She had strep throat and she had the flu. And I've called and tried to talk to people and just ask them, why is my child expected, why am I as a parent, still expected to pay these fees and my child is not in attendance? What I've always been told is that it is because this is how we pay our teachers. The Latchkey is its own entity. I've spoken to Ms. Woodard, Ms. Simmons, Ms. Baker, and even Mr. Hoffman in customer relations, and that's the same thing that I'm being told. If you think about it, you don't pay rent or mortgage if you're not living in a place.
You don't pay for utilities that are not being used. So why is it that parents, hardworking parents who are not receiving any type of assistance, be expected to pay for children who are not receiving care? I kind of just want to know where my money is going at that point, you know? That money could have been used for me to care for my child while she was at home sick, or, you know, being able to provide food for our family or any other thing besides paying for a service that is not being used. I know that with time comes change. We have a new superintendent, and congrats to the board, Columbus City Schools, for the passing of issue 11. I would just like to see these things taken into consideration. If my child is at home sick, I can provide an excuse, or she's under her doctor's care. I just would like to know if it would even be possible for, if I'm expected to pay, maybe that payment can be put on to another week or for the days that she is there. But just to keep hearing that it's how we pay our teachers is just not a good thing when my child is not there and she's not receiving services and I'm still expected to pay. Thank you for your time, and I hope that this will be taken into consideration.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cruz. Our next speaker is Hanif Muhammad. Topic, I want the board to promote more in the inner city. Oh, not here. Our next speaker is Rick Hansen. Topic, I want the board to let me know I cannot use the school facility after using it for 6 years. Good evening, Mr. Hansen. You have 3 minutes to address the board.
Well, one thing is, we've been using the school for 60 years. We've been there. Like I said, my name's Rick Hansen. We've been using the school for 60 years, and this year they've told us that we can no longer use the facility there, the grounds. And we were told that our football program is doing too much damage to the school, to the grounds. We use the grass. We don't use anything. The problem is, we had an incident this year with a broken window. A 7-year-old girl picked up a rock and threw it through a window, okay? And we turned the information in the next day to the school with the child's name, the parent's name, all the information they needed. The next day, we had a guy come out from city schools and was walking around and wanted to know, why this window got broke. And we're like, well, a little 7-year-old girl picked up a rock and threw it. There's a playground there. We have, in our organization, we have about 120 kids. And every night, Monday through Thursday, we practice there. There's a playground. The kids, their little brothers and sisters are there. They play up there. Like I said, they told us that we're tearing up the grass. Well, every year that grass grows back. Okay, and we're not tearing up anything else. We have a trailer that's been sitting back in the back for 32 years that we use to store our equipment, our football equipment that we use. They told us now that we have till January 1st to move it out, or they're going to move it out for us. It's been there for 32 years. It's on wheels. It's buried in the ground. It's way behind the school. You can't even see it because of the weeds that are going around the backstop of you can't even see it from the school. And all of a sudden now it has to be moved. Everything has to be done. I grew up in Georgian Heights. I went to Wedgwood Middle School, graduated from West High School. I've been with Georgian Heights for 49 years, coaching football there for these kids. And then we're told that we can't use it. And it's basically, we were also told that's the principal that doesn't want us there. And we have not in 49 years that I've been there had any problems. They're saying, well, there was some mulch that we're throwing that was tossed around. Well, the mulch was in front of the school when they built the new school. They had the mulch in front of the school, and the neighborhood kids were riding their bicycles up and down and throwing it, and had nothing to do with us. And then, now this is some of the things that we have to do. We have tried and looked for other places to play. There's no parking. Some of the other places that we tried to look into. Georgian Heights has plenty of parking for our kids, and we've never had, like I said, this is the first time we've ever had a problem with this.
Mr. Hansen, your time has expired.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
We
Well,
do
we'll take
have
the-
information. I'll make sure the board, there's some emails that I received, so I'll make sure the rest of the board members have that.
Okay,
And then I believe a member of our administrative team will be talking with you.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is President Nana Watson from the NAACP. Topic, I want the board to tell me who attended, how much the airfare cost, how much was spent on accommodation, registration, and how much per diem was issued. President Watson, good evening.
Good evening, Board President Adair, Superintendent Chapman, and board members. NAACP submitted a public records request on October 30th, requesting the names of the individuals, their titles that attended your 67th conference in San Diego, October the 25th through the 29th, I believe. NAACP wants to know how much was the airfare, hotel accommodations, registration fee, and if there was per diem. I'd like an answer to that, and more importantly, did you go on tax dollars or was this a grant?
Are you finished, President Watson? You have 2 minutes left.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said you have 2 minutes left. Are you finished?
I'm finished.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your comments. I do believe that a response to that public records request was issued. We will have a member of our team chat with you right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, President Adair.
President Watson, we'll have a member of our team speak with you right now about that request.
Okay, we'd like to see it in writing. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Tiana Lee. Topic, express gratitude to voters, parent leaders, and the Board of Education. I want the board to know they have our continued support and that we value your transparency and vulnerability leading us to this win.
Good evening. My name is Tiana Lee, and I stand before you as the Central Ohio Parent Organizing Committee with All In for Ohio Kids. On behalf of All In for Ohio Kids, on behalf of the families, as CCS parents and CCS alumni, we would like to say thank you. Thank you to our fellow AOK parent leaders, partners, and supporters for their work to build support for the levy. We had a short window, but with this win, it shows that it can happen even with the short window when we come together as a collective. Thank you to the City of Columbus for voting for our future, our children. Thank you to the City of Columbus and this board for having the hard conversations, for the transparency and vulnerability that you displayed in the months leading up to this moment, for taking the time to be involved and available for discussions with the community and listening to our concerns even when it was hard to hear, for humanizing the issue. We believe that this has made all the difference. We are committed to keeping the momentum going. We are committed to ensuring that the promises that were made are fulfilled. We are committed to continuing to support you as you serve our students and staff with quality in mind. We as a community, we as parents, we as advocates understand that our involvement is invaluable, and we are committed to keeping the engagement going. We look forward to keeping the excitement going. We look forward to keeping the execution going. Cheers to change, cheers to implementation, and cheers to only the best for CCS. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those comments, Ms. Lee. That ends our public comment period. We'll move into board matters. The first item on board matters is 4.1, resolution to amend the 2023-2024 academic calendar. Vice President Vera has that motion.
Whereas the Board of Education has negotiated an amendment to the academic calendar for the 2023-2024 academic year with the Columbus Education Association and academic calendar for the 2023-2024 school year, and whereas the Board of Education conducted a public hearing regarding the proposed calendars on October 3rd, 2023, and whereas a calendar change was proposed to mitigate potential safety concerns related to the total eclipse of the sun on April 8th, 2024, and whereas specifically the April 24th, 2024 Professional Development Day shall be moved to Monday, April 8th, 2024. Furthermore, Monday, April 15th, 2024 shall be an intercession day on the year-round academic calendar for the school year 2023-2024, and whereas the proposed calendars are attached, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby adopts the attached calendars as the amended academic calendars for the Columbus City Schools for the 2023-2024 school year.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
President Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beckerly?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Vice President Vera?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We're going to move into a series of resolutions. Resolution 4.2 is to commemorate School Psychology Awareness Week. Board Member Beckerly, I believe you have this resolution.
Whereas, in order to enhance a holistic environment in which students live and grow, educators must apply sound psychological principles to guide instruction and learning, cultivate a student's intellectual, social, and emotional development, meet the educational needs of our culturally diverse student population, and promote early intervention to ensure a student's academic success. And whereas school psychologists are on the front lines in the drive to advance the goals of violence prevention, intervention, and response in our schools. And whereas it is appropriate that Columbus City Schools take the time to recognize the important and vital role that psychologists play in the personal and academic development of our schools' children. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Columbus Board of Education recognizes and celebrates the week of November 6th through 10th, 2023, as Social Psychology Awareness Week. And be it further resolved, School Psychology Awareness Week. And be it further resolved that the Columbus Board of Education does hereby honor and values the many contributions of Columbus City Schools school psychologists for the impact they have on the lives of our schools, of our students and families, and their positive impact on our community through their tireless efforts. And be it further resolved that the Columbus Board of Education urges all Columbus residents to reflect on the outstanding work of our school psychologists and join the board in expressing our gratitude for the critical role they perform for our students and families each and every day.
That's a motion. There's been a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Beckerly?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes? Vice President Vera?
Yes.
President Adair?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We're going to have Board Member Beckerly walk around and present the resolution to you. And Dr. Nelson, would you like to say a few words and invite the school psychologists that are with you to speak as well?
Yes. Thank you so much, President Adair, Dr. Chapman, the remainder of the board. We are truly appreciative. I think the resolution said it itself. We have an amazing, outstanding staff of school psychologists that are on the front lines every day, support our students, support our staff, support our families, and support each other. And it's a pleasure of mine to be able to be working with them on a daily basis. So I will invite them to join in the appreciation as well. Jill Smith.
President Adair, do we have a quick?
Whatever you'd like.
I've been with the district this is my 11th year, and I came back out of being a stay-at-home mom for 14 years, and I love being in Columbus City Schools. It's where I'm supposed to be.
I'm Marcy Kipper. This is actually my 24th year as well with the district, and I very much love working in Columbus as well, so thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Robin Floyd. I manage psychological services in school Medicaid, and I have an amazing team that I work with each and every day, and it's been nothing but a pleasure, and we look forward to many, many more days ahead. Thank you so much for this recognition. We greatly appreciate it on behalf of the entire psychological services team in the district.
Thank you. We're going to take a picture. Board Member Beckerly wants to say something, so the rest of the board members come in the middle, and we'll be directed about where we're going to stand. So let's take a quick picture.
And just a point of personal privilege, having worked with many psychologists during my time in the classroom, You've always been a fabulous part of my team, and I've had incredible experience working with you, and it's just a joy to be able to present this right now.
Our next resolution is item 4.3 to commemorate Education Support Professionals Day, which is November 15th. Dr. Pierce has this resolution, and I believe President Carson and maybe team are here to accept this resolution. Dr. Pierce.
All right, thank you so much. So our resolution reads as follows. Whereas Education Support Professionals Day was celebrated in 1987 after the National Education Association's Representative Assembly called for the creation of a way to honor contributions of school support staff. And whereas education support professionals are often the first people our children encounter on a daily basis, the people who drive the buses, help students cross the street, provide students a nutritious meal, greet our guests at the schools, keep our school buildings and grounds clean and safe, and help our students be healthy and successful. And whereas education support professionals are integral to the education process and the academic success of our students, and whereas education support professionals work tirelessly to ensure our students are ready to be productive citizens and serve our students and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas it takes a team of instructional assistants, school nurses, school social workers, school counselors, school psychiatrists, secretaries, bus drivers, food service workers, custodians, maintenance workers, groundskeepers, and many other dedicated Columbus City Schools employees to support the work of our teachers and administrators. And whereas education support professionals are the backbone and unsung heroes of our district and public education. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Columbus City Schools Board of Education hereby recognizes and celebrates November 15th, 2023 as Education Support Professionals Day. And be it further resolved that the Columbus Board of Education does hereby honor and value the many contributions of Columbus City Schools education support professionals for the impact that you all have on the lives of our students and families and your positive impact on our community. And be it further resolved that the Columbus Board of Education urges all Columbus residents to reflect on the outstanding work of our education support professionals and to join the board in expressing our gratitude to them for the critical role that they play in our students' and families' lives each and every day.
Been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Vice President Vera?
Yes.
President Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beckerly?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. We're going to have Dr. Pierce present that to you. And before you speak, I'm going to ask Board Member Cole, and then we'll turn it over to you, President Carson.
I just want to say thank you. I would just want to express the greatest amount of gratitude for the work that you all put in on a daily and yearly basis. You all are the front lines of defense in many areas that often go unnoticed, and there's no words that can continue to say how much throughout my tenure in office, and on behalf of all of us who greatly appreciate the work that you do. This is, in the words of Herschel Craig, not hyperbole, not exaggeration, not embellishment. This is very honest from the heart from all of us, how much we greatly appreciate who you are and what you bring in added value to this Columbus City Schools. Bless you. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. As listening to this resolution, and over the years, I've listened to some resolutions given to us by the board. And tonight I could say this one hits the mark. It sums up exactly what we do, how we feel, and we will continue to fight for Columbus City Schools. Unlike you guys, I can talk about the levy. You can't talk about the levy, but I can talk about the levy. I'm just saying. I don't have the rules you have. So, to the public, to the city of Columbus, thank you, thank you, thank you. On behalf of these folks standing behind me and the other 3,000 folks I represent, we appreciate the support. We look forward to moving forward with the district, Dr. Chapman, the board. We're going to make this work. We're going to get out in the community. We're going to prove them wrong. We're going to show them that we do know how to get out in the community. Dr. Chapman and I talked about volunteering at some food pantries. We're going to do that as a team. Her team, my team. We're going to show Columbus City Schools that we are one hell of a school district, and I am Lois Carson, and I am a proud product of Columbus City Schools, and nobody can steal that pride from me. Anything from my team? You said it all. My team said I said it all. So to all of you this evening, thank you for what you do. We ain't always gonna agree. We're just like any family. And if my aunt's listening, she gonna hear me say the word ain't, and she gonna correct me tonight. But we ain't gonna get along all the time. Y'all gonna check us, we gonna check y'all, we gonna check the community gonna check us. But dog nabbit, we're gonna continue to move forward and make Columbus City School prouder than what it already is. So for all the naysayers out there, we produce some hell of a kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a quick picture. Don't run away. Our last resolution of the evening is item 4.4, resolution to commemorate Veterans Day, which is November 11th. Board Member Brown has this resolution. And we are going to welcome Mr. John Marshall, who will be accepting this resolution.
John, you can come up. Thank you. This resolution is to honor, recognize, and celebrate Veterans Day. Whereas the members of Columbus City Schools are committed to celebrating models of excellence particularly as it relates to recognizing areas of leadership and service from citizens serving our global community. And whereas this board is honored to proclaim November 11, 2023 as Veterans Day within Columbus City Schools, proudly thanking the staff, teachers, and residents of CCS who have embraced the awesome responsibility to serve. Whereas Veterans Day, originally known as Armistice Day, is a federal holiday observed each year on November 11, honoring the military veterans who have served in the various branches of the armed forces, whereas Columbus City Schools has produced a number of students who have embraced the call and served with distinction. This includes representatives from the Tuskegee Airmen like Navy pilot Jesse Brown, who became the first Black naval pilot to be awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross, William Crane, who was awarded the Bronze Star in 1945, Medal of Honor recipient Eddie Rickenbacker, and countless others. Therefore, be it resolved, this body does hereby proclaim November 11th, 2023 as Veterans Day within Columbus City Schools. Moreover, this body is proud to celebrate and salute the service, commitment, and leadership of our veterans, including many of our teachers and staff who continue to serve CCS, our country, and this community with distinction. We applaud and thank you for your service.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Vice President Vera?
Yes.
President Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beckerly?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I'm going to have Mr. Brown bring you that resolution, and before I open the mic to you, I'm going to have Board Member Cole say a few words again.
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Marshall, I just want to thank you very personally for your work and service, not only during wartime for this country, but also in the work that you did with the National Office of Veteran Affairs. You have led a stellar career. You are a personal friend, dear friend of mine, and a mentor of mine. I affectionately refer to you as my Jedi Knight. I thank you so very much. I also want to say that I'm proud of our students, some of whom who might have enlisted now. My son was one of those students in the year, I want to say 2021. He enlisted in the United States Army and currently serves to this day as a graduate of this school district in 2022. I want to acknowledge so many of our students who are choosing this path as a very honorable, but challenging but honorable career. I just thank you. I love you dearly, good sir. I say that publicly and pridefully. Thank you, and God bless you.
Mr. Marshall, would you like to say a few words?
Michael, hoo-ah to your son. It's been a great honor to serve in the military, and I encourage any public school student to enroll in one of the branches of the military. It teaches them a lot, and definitely taught me a lot. And as for my public career, you never know where in life leads you. You know, as a product of the Columbus Public School System, class of '69 out of South High School, I never known I worked for 3 presidents, let alone, you know, be in the Army and survive. But thank you for the board for the resolution, and thank you, my dear friend, Mr. Brown, and all the other board members for this resolution on behalf of all our American veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll take a picture. All right, that takes us into item 5, which is the report from our superintendent. Dr. Chapman, I will turn it to you.
Thank you. Good evening, President Adair, members of the board, and to our entire Columbus City Schools community. It is a pleasure to be here this evening to share some important updates with you. First and foremost, again, I want to echo the sentiments from our board president as well as our community members shared tonight in thanking our entire Columbus City Schools community for your unwavering dedication and commitment to more than 45,000 students across the district whom we serve. Now we will transition into an update on our statement of facts for issue 11, which passed last night. As a reminder, all of our decisions and strategic planning are firmly rooted in the board goals and guardrails established by the Columbus Board of Education. These directives underscore our unwavering commitment to our district's key priorities: early literacy, graduation rates, and whole child supports. These priorities are harmoniously aligned with our North Star, our Portrait of a Graduate vision for all of our students. As you all may be well aware, the district placed a combined $7.7 mil levy consisting of a $4.7 mil permanent improvement levy and a $3.0 mil operating levy on the November 7th ballot. With the passage of issue 11, we will allocate funding specifically to protect student and family supports, and we will remain dedicated to cultivating modern 21st century learning environments that benefit both our students, staff, and families. My vision for our district is that our students graduate not only with a diploma, but also with a credential and a certificate that helps prepare and propel them for the future. In this presentation tonight, I will provide an overview of where we are right now and the strategic choices that will lead us to where we want to be in the future. As a reminder, ESSER funding ends in September 2024. As we know, there were several time-limited positions that were on our ESSER budget. That means these are the positions that are currently funded by ESSER that would be impacted. There were also several ESSER-funded vendor contracts that are impacted. Cost reduction efforts. In preparation for ESSER funding ending in 2024, cost reduction efforts have been made to address the loss of ESSER funding in FY25 and to balance the 5-year forecast. These adjustments include summer programs and enrichment experiences will be scaled back. One-to-one devices is totally an ESSER-funded academic strategy that will cost at least $15 million per year for replacement devices and includes technology support. Our instructional coaching model was also funded by ESSER, and our online academy will certainly transition now to a 7-12 model based on decreased enrollment and funding for next school year. Last night, issue 11, the Columbus City Schools levy, was passed by our voters. This results, since the levy has passed, this results in general fund operating budget increase by $38.6 million annually. We will recapture the $20 million general fund transfer allocated to the Permanent Improvement Fund. Additionally, the Permanent Improvement Fund budget will increase by $60 million per year. I would like to note this is the first time that our district and community has made such a significant investment of this size to support facilities and maintenance in CCS. On the operating side, when we think about staffing, these are the positions, most of which are on ESSER currently, that we will maintain due to this new investment. The increase in revenue would allow us to continue providing student and family support that is integral to accelerating student learning. Maintaining these positions helps us to stabilize the whole child supports that we provide our students and families across the district. And I would like to call those out and name them because I'm certainly getting questions and emails. So I certainly want to make sure that I am naming the positions that we will be maintaining. These are the positions that will remain on the general fund budget, even though our ESSER funding is ending. This includes 11 ESL interpreters and translators from ESSER, 90 school counselors, 18 social workers, 30 safety and security specialists, 56 building substitutes from ESSER, 68 custodians from ESSER, 10 attendance program specialists from ESSER, 6 regional family engagement coordinators from ESSER, 5 vulnerable youth liaisons from ESSER. In addition, we will also be able to expand pre-K programming at 6 sites across the district. Expansion of pre-K is very important and a critical strategy for improving student outcomes. We know, based on decades of research, that investing in early childhood, high-quality early childhood programming yields many short-term as well as long-term benefits for children. Studies have shown how early childhood programs can prepare children to develop the social and emotional learning skills they need to succeed and graduate from high school. Students who participate in high-quality early childhood programming are less likely to repeat a grade, they're more likely to succeed in school, and they also, the long-term benefits, earn higher income in the workforce. We also believe that providing early intervention breaks down the structural barriers that may prevent children from achieving their full potential. Ideally, we want to be a district where we offer universal early childhood services. This is one step in that direction. On the operating budget, when we look at non-personnel, we would continue the following programs previously funded on ESSER at an estimated $19 million yearly to continue student and family supports across the district, which includes a one-to-one device program and support, which may look differently, but we will still make necessary investments in technology as well as supports. We will continue to invest in layered safety and security measures across the district. We will maintain our commitment to expanding restorative practices training across the district. We will continue to offer summer programming to our students and families. For elementary students, there will be a program model change. It will look a bit different. We may not be able to serve the same number of students, but we will still provide services. We will be able to continue offering credit recovery program and services to our secondary students. We will be able to maintain a career advising expansion so we can make sure that we are providing our students in middle school with career awareness opportunities. We will continue to invest in school climate and culture supports. This also includes a continued investment in our Family Ambassador and Bilingual Family Engagement Program. And we will also continue to, we'll have the resources to support our online platform for the Online Academy only for grades 7 through 12. In addition, we will have the resources allocated to support professional development for our staff across the district in the area of math. As you know, we are standing up a math goal as a part of our board goals and guardrail work, and we know that we'll need to make continued efforts to invest in the professional learning of our staff. We'll also make the necessary investments in high-need teacher licensure incentives. As you know, across the country, there is a nationwide teacher shortage, and as a district, we need to have a strategic plan to think about how we are investing and helping our staff who are interested in acquiring and gaining additional licensure in areas that are high need or more specialized. and also beginning the process to think about high school pathways for redesign. When I started the presentation, I talked about our vision for how we really get to a place where we are preparing not only our students to graduate, to meet one milestone, but also to meet the milestones post-secondary, and so that they can be prepared with the credentials and the work-based learning experiences that really prepare them for the high-wage, high-skilled jobs that are offered in our community. So this is really an overview on the operating side of the positions. Again, we talked about the positions that would be maintained on the general fund that are transitioning from ESSER to general fund, as well as the programming. And on the permanent improvement side of the budget, we'll talk about the non-personnel investments. The permanent improvement budget is essential for maintaining and improving our school facilities and infrastructure. And I called this out earlier, but I'm going to say it again because I think it's really important. This is the first time that our district and community has made such a significant long-term investment to ensure that we have the resources we need to maintain our facilities across the district. When our students go to school and they do not have the facilities that represent our hopes and visions for the learning environments that they deserve, that's not because it's our intent to do that. It's because we have not made the necessary decisions to make the necessary investments, to have the resources available to maintain our facilities. And I am pleased to say, with the support of our community, that narrative has changed. And this is an investment that generations of students in this community will experience well after our time in these seats has passed. So again, we're very grateful to have this opportunity to be able to allocate the resources needed to maintain the facilities and spaces that we know that our students deserve. So on the permanent improvement budget, again, infrastructure, which is approximately $26.8 million per year, these funds will be used to address critical infrastructure needs, including roof repairs, HVAC upgrades, electrical work, plumbing improvements, maintaining pavements, and enhancing security. And to date, I want to remind our community that we have already upgraded HVAC in all of our academic classrooms across the district at 113 sites. We are in the process of finalizing HVAC at one of our sites, Mifflin Middle School, which will be completed by summer 2024. Learning environments, approximately $23.4 million per year. These funds will be used to create conducive learning environments for our students. This includes classroom renovations similar to Hamilton STEM Academy, auditorium upgrades, gymnasium renovations, purchasing finishings, enhancing playgrounds, improving flooring and finishes, and upgrading classroom systems and infrastructure, similar to upgrades recently made at Westmore Middle School, Columbus Gifted Academy, Johnson Park Middle School, Fort Hays Arts and Academic High School. Athletics and site work, approximately $6.7 million per year. These funds will improve athletic facilities across the district, such as stadiums, tracks, turf fields, baseball and softball fields, and site infrastructure. This will ensure that our students not only have the adequate facilities to learn in, but also to compete and play on. Again, these are the necessary investments that are needed to make sure that our students have access to the spaces, the competitive spaces that we know that they so desperately deserve. This slide, again, highlights the critical role of the permanent improvement funding in maintaining our school buildings and ensuring that our students have safe and conducive learning environments. It emphasizes our commitment to providing high-quality facilities that support the educational needs of our students across the entire district. And in closing, future considerations. In addition to some of the budget reductions that we've already made, we have identified that more resources are being allocated to operations across our district than instruction. We know that that has to change. That is not okay. I know that we are committed to making the necessary decisions to shift that practice. And we have the following potential future items to consider, which include accelerating school consolidation, changes to our school lottery and open enrollment policies and procedures, changes to transportation policies and procedures related to alignment to state minimum transportation requirements, and reductions to central office staffing to prioritize classroom instruction. These are big decisions that lie ahead for us, but we know that we're committed to leaning in and having these conversations to ensure that we are aligning our resources to meet and make sure that we have the resources that we need to support student outcomes. Again, I want to thank the entire Columbus community from the bottom of my heart for your continued support for our students and families. We look forward to improving our engagement with our community and doing this work together. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you, Dr. Chapman. We will now we will say hi to our internal auditor. You don't have a report, but it's nice to see you, Auditor O'Connor.
Thank you. I just have a quick update. We had a great Audit and Accountability Committee meeting October 26th. We discussed work that OIA is doing on 3 fronts linked to our Path of Excellence, which is collaboration, communication, and relationship building. We identified some partnering opportunities between OIA and management, and we highlighted efforts of the OIA staff and management working together to reduce some open items, and it was number 25 that had been reduced in 7 weeks. So that's pretty good. Yep.
Great.
So that concludes my report.
Thank you for that update. Do the audit chairs have anything to add? Okay. Over to the Treasurer's Office, Treasurer Vanover.
Good evening. I have 2 what will likely be fairly brief reports, but I have the quarterly financial report to share with the board regarding the first quarter from July through September. Just as a reminder, we do provide a much more comprehensive document that gets much more detailed than the PowerPoint that we present publicly, but this is kind of a layout of the report that we provide where we look into each individual area. So going forward, whoa, that got really loud. So just a note, this report is being compared to the May 5-year forecast. This will be the last quarterly report that we compared to the May forecast, because once the board adopts the November forecast, we will update our plan and everything will be compared to that adjustment. And once that is done, a lot of the variances I'll highlight in future slides here will essentially be remedied, because some of that is plan design and just timing and changes. So those types of things will come into play. So as you note, revenues are above plan by around 2.4% or 9.9 million. Primary drivers here, general property tax came in a little bit above plan, 9.5 million. State aid came in over plan by about 10.2 million, but keeping in mind that does not take into account the transportation penalty that is also factored in to be potentially reduced. Other financing resources came in over plan expected, or by about 6.2 million, and the state portion of local taxes is slightly under 16.9 million. This, just so you know, used to be called Homestead Rollback, Property Tax Allocation. They've changed the title of that through House Bill 33, changed the label as it relates to that. And this is simply a delay in receiving the payment. It should have been paid by the end of September. We didn't receive it until, honestly, till we reminded them and got it later in October. So from the expenditure side of things, we are below plan by around 6.8% or just under 15 million. Again, the primary driver here being personnel, and a lot of this, again, is due to plan design and the way we've got it structured right now. So those two factors combined for a cash balance being above plan by about 7.8% or 33.7 million. So again, on the total revenues, this, again, the nice part of quarter one, quarter to date and year to date look exactly the same. So again, the general property tax came in a little bit higher than expected. The state aid does reflect increases to the cost sets as well as to the phase-in that was continued, that was addressed and handled through the House Bill 33 that was passed. So those are factored in. The actual adjustments related to the, I'm trying to remember, part of it was factored in right at the beginning of the year. The other didn't hit until October. So some of the adjustment was addressed here. Some of it was updated in October, but our numbers are pretty on point. The other financing resources, again, over the 6.2 million, and the state portion of local taxes, again, was just a delay in payment. When we get into some of these additional revenues, restricted federal grant, the qualified school construction bond, that variance is due to the fact that we actually should have received a qualified school, we call them Q-Scoobies, it's easier than qualified school construction bond for a long period of time. We should have received a subsidy in FY23 for that particular year's subsidy. We didn't receive it until July. So some of that is a timing. So we anticipate getting a second payment this fiscal year. So we should actually get 2 payments this year. We should have had one last year and one this year. So that adjustment is attributing for that variance. And again, the property tax allocation, state share of local property tax was simply a delay. It was received, I think, mid to late October. So the other financing sources, the increase is related to the transfers that we do at fiscal year end related to the grants and ESSER. So this is just a timing issue to make sure that as we are waiting on the cash requests to come in from ODE, we funnel money over, transfer money over to cover it or advance it over, and then we bring it back once the cash request is received. So again, that's just a timing issue, and it's just a variance from what we estimated for the year. To address some of the other revenues, most of these variances will be addressed when we do the update to the November forecast and make those adjustments. The two biggest ones that were impacted here, interest on investments. We worked with our investment firm and have isolated and focused in on a more accurate picture of what we expect based on our current portfolio and our estimated interest income, whereas before we were using more of a trend. So we tried to go away from estimating to more concrete numbers. And then on the pilot payments, which if you recall, because of House Bill 126, a lot of those were very much accelerated in a very quick fashion. Not knowing the timing and how much we were going to get on that, we had a budget built in for that for over a couple years. We have confirmed with our legal counsel that manages those items that the majority of the settlements that we are due were received in 23. So that number will be greatly reduced because we've gotten most of that. So again, total expenditures. Again, we're under plan, but this is primarily due to plan design. The first 2 months of the year are essentially the final 2 months of the prior contract. So when we're looking at the forecast in a whole, we're comparing and we're updating to step increases, base increases, those types of things that need to be factored in. But in those first 2 months, that's not in play. And we also have a scenario where the staff that do not receive payment all year long, the 21 pay people, are not included in those 2 months. So those 2 months tend to be a little bit lower anyways. So again, it becomes a plan design situation because we take the estimated cost of salary and benefits and spread it evenly over the year, accounting for the 2-3 pay months. So by doing that and not accounting for those fluctuations in July and August, those numbers tend to come in low on quarter one. Again, some of this will remedy itself when we adjust our plan once the November forecast is adopted and we're comparing to updated numbers. On the expenditure side of things, more detailed, again, the other thing to keep in mind as it relates to personnel in terms of the variance is 100% of the staffing is what's being assumed. I think we all know based on various comments and things that we understand in terms of teacher shortages and bus driver shortages, those types of things, we're not at 100% staff. We understand that, we know that. And even if we are providing substitute coverage in that space, it's at a lesser rate. So some of those adjustments are part of what I just explained in terms of July and August being the tail end of the prior year's contract, but it also accounts for the fact that we don't have full staffing. On the non-personnel side of things, the increases related to purchase service and capital outlay is simply due to an increased number of carryover encumbrances from FY23 that were paid. So again, it becomes a timing issue. Had they been paid in June, it would have been more in line with last year's estimates. They were carried over, so they are reflected here. And again, the other financing uses is related to timing of advances and transfers. We have small advances throughout the year, but the majority of them are typically in the fourth quarter when we close out the year and update everything for the federal grants. So this represents just a graphical representational line chart of the salary and wages. You can tell very quickly where our 3 pay months fall. The dip that you see in January, which obviously we haven't gotten to yet, but that's showing previous year. That's typically when we post the adjustment for Wellness Week, which this will be the final year that ESSER will be covering the cost of Wellness Week. So we'll see a similar blip this year. Going forward, that will even out because it'll just be paid through the general fund. And again, this is just a final overview. So are there any questions?
Any questions? No questions?
Okay.
I have a comment.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Yeah, Vice President Vera.
So thank you. This is really great information, and I know as we get into the new year now, taking into account issue 11 and all of that, I also want to just thank everyone who was a part of really advocating for those cost set increases, because that was something that this board, along with other people, really lobbied to make sure that we were able to have that. And so I just wanted to highlight that and thank you and the team for helping to guide that process.
Okay, so we'll move right on to the 5-year forecast as soon as it gets loaded. And this may be the shortest 5-year forecast presentation on record, just saying, because the majority of the message as it relates here, Dr. Chapman gave earlier in her report, because these are the numbers, and the numbers are the numbers, but what really matters is the message and what it provides. So just to provide some context, last month I presented 2 scenarios to FAC, one if the levy passed, one if the levy failed. In light of the successful passage last night of issue 11, this reflects the passage option. And again, one thing to keep in mind, part of why this is very short, or this will be a brief discussion, comparing May's to November's forecast, there are basically 4 primary drivers. One, we obviously ended FY23, so we have another year of actuals that we can factor in. The budget bill was passed, which is going to be reflected in the revenues. Statement of facts was established and approved and in place, and we passed a levy. So that's basically the big drivers to explain why this is a little bit obviously different than November. So, all right, so going into the major assumptions as it relates to revenues. One thing I want to point out, like I say, we did obviously finished FY23. Fiscal year end totals actually resulted in a small increase, about 3.8% of our cash balance, so we ended up just under $9 million ahead of where we expected to be. In addition, the additional revenue from the levy is equivalent to about 6.5% of what our current revenue from property tax is. So to provide some context of what that provides and how that factors in, that $38.6 million increase is about 6.5% of what we've been collecting up to this point. Now, the other thing I want to point out, FY24, we will only get a half a year's collection. So as we go through this, keep in mind that this year we'll only see half of that. Next year and forward, we'll see that full $38.6 million. Again, updates to the state funding formula as a result of House Bill 33 provide an estimated $20 million per year in additional revenue. That is reflected in 24 and 25. That is just over 10% of the prior year's total. 2% of the general fund for the total district, again, just to provide some context, and it's about 1.3% of the entire district's appropriations, which includes all funds. Obviously, the forecast focuses strictly on the general fund, but just to, again, provide some context for that. Unfortunately, the transportation penalty that we have budgeted for effectively removes 75% of that estimated increase. We've budgeted about $15 million. Last year's total came in, I believe, just under $18 million. The year before, prior to the injunction, it was around 11. So we tried to estimate somewhere in the middle, hoping that we'd be close. So again, it's great that we got the additional funding. Unfortunately, we could potentially lose a good chunk of that to the transportation penalty. And again, as I mentioned before, the increases as it relates to the state funding formula is reflected in 24 and 25. Everything is flatline going forward because, again, we have 2 more biennial budgets to work through that we don't know the outcomes of. So we hope for the best, but given that we don't know that that's a given, we've got it flatlined going forward. On the expenditure side of things, again, Dr. Chapman in her presentation earlier identified those items, those positions that were maintained through the passage of the levies. So those are highlighted in the bottom 2 bullets. The other 2 items are items that were already in the forecast in May. These are the 4% base increases that were approved through all of our contracts, as well as the estimated 2.5% allocated or estimated for future years. And there were some staffing plan positions that were reduced, again, in a means of trying to maintain and balance the budget. So there is the personnel end of things. On the non-personnel side, again, the reductions that Dr. Chapman mentioned earlier that were essentially identified last year and put in place this year to try to maintain and be fiscally responsible and make those reductions, those will be maintained throughout the forecast. The $20 million capital transfer is no longer necessary, thankfully. And the other 2 items that are on there essentially quantify the amounts that Dr. Chapman identified in terms of the programs that are being maintained at some level, be it fully or partially from before. So again, like I say, a lot of this, the important message is what Dr. Chapman shared in terms of what's being provided. This is just putting numbers to it. So here we have a graph that demonstrates blue is the revenues, red is your expenditures, and the black line is your cash balance. So as you can see, again, 24 revenue only reflects a half-year collection. And then the first year of collection would be in 25, which explains that little bit of variance. There is a slight drop in revenue in 26, 27, and 28, and that again is due to the fact that we don't have any increases built in for the state funding because we don't know what, if any, any increases we're going to see. And again, what this helps demonstrate, if you'll notice, starting in 26, the red bar is taller than the blue bar. That means we're deficit spending at that point. So we will continue, Dr. Chapman, her team, my team, we will continue to work through and identify those areas where those small reductions can be made to be more fiscally responsible and make sure that we're staying within our resources. But again, this is the situation that we are in, and that drives the negative, or not the negative balance, but the decline, the slope of the line that goes downward. So as you can see, we have a positive balance at the end of 2028. It's not necessarily what our goal is. Our goal is always 60 days cash on hand. That is not going to meet that 60 days cash on hand, but it does provide a positive cash balance, and we have a lot of variables between now and then that we could have that would be favorable and improve that balance. So we will continue to research and review all the expenditures, identify other areas of revenue, but this is where we are right now. And finally, this is a graphic showing both the ending cash balance, which is the blue line above, as well as the 60 days reserve cash balance. That's the goal. And you can see we don't go negative on the reserve cash balance until 2028. So again, we have time to make those adjustments, review those expenditures, seek other alternatives, hopefully get some favorable responses through the future budgets that will hopefully put that 60 days reserve cash balance above that dotted line. So that is our goal. That is where we're working for. And that, again, is my 5-slide, 5-year forecast presentation. So, any questions?
Any questions? Board Member Eckerly?
I think you explained this, but I'm just want to ask it again to make sure I understood it. When you had the 5-year slide 5, you said that the revenues went down in 26, 27, and 28 because we don't know what the budget's going to be, the funding's going to be from the state?
Correct, we flatlined it.
So
So
why
there's
is
no
it,
growth,
so why is it not the same as the first 2 years?
because the growth in the first 2 years is attributed to both that and the state funding. So it's attributed to the levy, but it also contributes to the state funding. So the levy is maintained throughout, the state funding is dropped.
But it could, but why is it
It-
not flat, though? Why didn't you just assume the same amount of state funding?
We do, from 25 forward, it's flat. That's why the bump in 25 is a function of the fact that's the first year of full collection on the levy. Then it kind of, the state funding drops off a little bit. So that's, like I say, our hope is that we continue the phase-in and they update cost sets again, which will benefit all of us for that remaining time, but since we don't know that, it's not modeled.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Chair Poll, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think that she stated it very clearly. Thank you again for this presentation, but also for the work that was collectively put in advance of this to see us successful. I think the only thing I'd like to add is that I look forward to us having a future and ongoing conversation about facilities master planning and what our vision casting is around that and what our finances are around that. So if anything, I look forward to that upcoming conversation.
And again, just to your point there, obviously, I think I mentioned at one point, but the 60 million related to the 4.7 mil permanent improvement levy is not reflected in these numbers because the forecast is strictly based on the general fund. So just so everybody understands that. The other thing I would highlight is we do have an FAC meeting next Wednesday, I believe it is at 5, the 15th. So I don't believe we have a very robust agenda because I believe we have a monthly report and that's about it. So it should be short and sweet and to the point. So.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, everyone. All right, we're going to move into item 8.1, which is a notice of public hearing on reemployment of Francis Penn. Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 3309.345, the Columbus Board of Education gives notice that Francis Penn, who retired from the Columbus City Schools as a teacher effective May 31st, 2017, is seeking reemployment with the Columbus City Schools as a teacher effective January 10th, 2024. The board will hold a public hearing on January 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom at 3700 South High, Columbus, Ohio, on the issue of Ms. Penn's reemployment. We will now move into a series of public hearings on the reemployment of employees. The first is for Jeannie Collins. No one is here for that hearing, so that hearing is now closed. The next is 9.1, a hearing for Lynn Getz, and no one is here for that hearing, so that hearing is now closed. And the last is 9.3, a hearing for Donald Poff, and no one is here for this hearing, and this hearing is now closed. Moving to our consent agenda, this evening's consent agenda consists of items 11.1 to 26.9. Are there any items the board member would like to remove for separate consideration? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been a motion and second. Are there any items board member would like to discuss? Board member Beckerly.
I'd just like to point out that we have 16.1, which is authority to purchase boiler preventative maintenance. And if you go down to the listing of competitive, of all of the bids, we clearly went with the lowest bidder, who was significantly lower than many of the others, or any of the next lowest. And I think we raised it in our agenda review and, wanted to make sure that we were comfortable that they were a responsible bidder. And I'm not questioning that at all, but what I am suggesting, would like to suggest, is that now that we have the benefit of the permanent improvement levy and we're looking at finally providing the facilities that we want to provide for our students. And we have a history, and I'm using that term generously because I don't know if it's perception or reality, but that we often end up with workmanship that isn't necessarily up to par because, you know, we're going with the lowest bidder sometimes, that we might want to take some time at this juncture to look at our processes, our procedures for determining responsible bidders, and, you know, how we value that vis-a-vis the lowest bid. And making sure that that's rigorous and that gives us enough ability to really make a determination about who's really qualified and have that factor in a way that is meaningful so that we're getting the quality workmanship and not just going with the lowest bidder because our procedures aren't detailed enough, thought effective. And it may be something that I don't know if our Office of Internal Audit can assist with that. That might be an opportunity where, you know, we can work together. But I think that looking at that now might be advisable to make sure going forward we're really getting the quality that we want.
Thank you, Board Member Beckerly. Any other comments or discussion on any other agenda items? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Vice President Vera?
Yes.
President Adair?
Yes, with the exception of item 20.1, for which I abstain because my mother's contract is on it.
Ms. Beckerly?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes?
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And we do not have any public comment on non-agenda items, and we do not have an executive session. So the last thing I need is just a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Everybody.
All together now.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Thank you. We are adjourned.